Happy Easter, everybody. How's it going? So, working on a little project here in here. So, if you guys were following the content, this weekend I was out shooting my 22. This has been something I've been kind of working on. I bought this gun at the gun show for about 125 bucks. So, it was this 1940s-ish Cooey Model 62 repeater. Now, I was having a hell of a time getting this sight straightened out, right? So I finally got it to where it's shooting straight, but you see how it's really crooked like this. Well, one thing I noticed was, so this sight was actually an aftermarket sight. Normally this gun came actually with a peep sight because it was a target gun. So it would have a peep sight here, and it would have had a hooded sight on the front. So at some point somebody added this rear sight, but the rear sight itself is not centered. It's actually off kilter like this. This is why my point of aim has to be tilted a little bit. So I said, fuck it. You know what? I got my grandpa's. So this is my grandpa's Cooey. This is what got me into Cooeys. So if you're Canadian, you know that this was a Canadian gun manufacturer. Anyways, my grandpa bought this when he was 12 years old. Now, if you look on his, it has these rails right here. Well, these rails, you can hook up a scope, right? But the 62 does not have these rails because it had a peep sight. So, this thing is deadly accurate with iron sights, right? I absolutely love using this gun with iron sights, so I'm going to keep it that way, all right? But this gun, I'm not a big fan of it being kind of tilted. So what I'm actually going to do, again, this is kind of a project gun for me. Having kind of fun right now. So I actually marked it out. I'm going to take my little Dremel cutoff wheel, and we're actually going to cut a mount for that scope. And we're going to mount the scope onto the 62. Then I'm going to have a scoped 22, and we're going to have an iron sight 22. The nice thing with the scoped 22, we'll be able to have some fun. We'll start shooting a little bit longer ranges. My effective range, honestly, the max I'll even really go with my iron sights at this point is about 50 to 60 yards. And even then, it's kind of pushing it. I do get some shots off in that range, but you're kind of pushing it with iron sights on a 22 at that range. Going for grouse with headshots and stuff. So, it'd be nice if I can get scope mounted on this. This will be my scope 22. Alright, so here we go. Yeah, just use my little Dremel. I think we got ourselves some scope mounts. So, mount it up and see what happens. Well, there she is. I think we got her. Sick. So, let's get it put on the rifle and see how she looks. There we go, guys. So now we have the scope mounted on the old 62. Sick. Great little grouse gun. Now I'm just going to have to go get this thing sighted in. Set up a little bit better. I think we are going to be dialed. Sick. Awesome. Happy Easter, everybody.